Welcome everyone to this webinar. Thanks for joining us. This webinar, Quick Results, Smart Investments, Merkel's Approach to Hyper Automation. I hope you can see the slides and you can hear us very well. So my name is Hicham Khalidi, and today I am with Ricardo Santos. Together we are part of Merkel. Ricardo is a Business Automation Solutions Director, and I am manager within the Digital Vision and Transformation team. Please, if you have any question related to the webinar or related to your digital projects or any topics related as well to hyper automation, contact us directly on the email address written on the right of your screen, or reach out to us through LinkedIn. Or you can use as well the chat, and we would be happy to answer your requests, your messages after the webinar as soon as possible. So let's go to the agenda of today. We are going to spend the next 45 minutes together. We will start exploring the hyper automation world, and afterwards we will provide insights about the toolbox and the technological landscape related to hyper automation. Then we will go through practical examples and real case studies that we run within Merkel with our clients. And finally, we will present our starter package, or how do we run hyper automation projects. So let's go without any further delay. Let's start on the exploring of hyper automation. It sounded years ago like a buzzword, but it's becoming a strategic imperative for businesses and organizations who wants to survive and thrive in the digital age. And that has been confirmed by Gartner, as hyper automation is one of the top 10 technological trends in 2023, and it's shifting, as stated by Gartner here, from an option to a condition of survival. And the pace of adoption has been rapid. Organizations with different scales, with a different size, are adopting and implementing hyper automation program. And this growing trend only highlights the significance of hyper automation as a condition for survival in the modern business environment. And maybe if you are here, you are wondering, or you are asking, why should my organization adopt a hyper automation program? Where there are several benefits, and first, it's the best way for your organization, your business operation to process and to automatize processes at a quicker rate. That will help to create efficiency, and as well it helps to deliver measurable fast ROI by enabling greater productivity and taking advantage of your existing solutions by enhancing them. And third, it's for organizations that are aiming for agility and resilience. Helping your workforce to focus on value-added tasks will ultimately help to offer increased employee satisfaction and motivation. And if we try to define hyper automation, behind this term there is a philosophy and a concept that goes beyond the technological landscape. So a hyper automation is the concept of automatizing everything that can be automatized in your organization, and using technology that drives value and that creates efficiency, such as AI, RPA, and other technologies. But it's not only about this; it's about a cultural change and a mindset shift in your organization. And this is an important point. So I mentioned first the scalability, the importance of the concept of scalability when we talk about automation and hyper automation, and driving or creating value. And the organization and the cultural change is another dimension that is important. And to understand this, we need to position hyper automation within the context of Industry 4.0. If we take a step back and look back in the history, the first industrial revolution created our powered industries and improved production by introducing the concept of mechanization. The second revolution was marked by the emergence of new energies such as electricity, oil, and gas. After mastering the macro, the third revolution was about focusing on the micro and exploring the micro. And here now, Industry 4.0, as some specialists like to describe it, it's not only about it's not only changing what we do, but who we are. It's really changing our concept or our relation with work, affecting our identity, privacy, the sense of ownership, our consumption patterns, how we nurture relationships, how we meet people, and the time we devote to work and leisure. And hyperautomation is the perfect example, and it's of this concept, as it loops human and process in one single concept. So it's about using collaborative intelligence, technology, and humans to work together. Therefore, we emphasize a lot on this cultural change and organizational impact when it comes to hyperautomation. And when done right, hyperautomation has proven to deliver real benefits. Here we are providing several examples and illustration of the benefits of hyperautomation. My colleague Ricardo later will present real case studies, but here is just potential scenarios and examples to see how hyperautomation can support some work and some operations that are done together within your organization. So if we talk about the layer customer service, it can be challenging to provide personalized customer experience, and it can be really frustrating for customer to get an accurate service, or frustrating to not get a prompt service and getting an inaccurate service. This can be challenging, and here using or leveraging hyperautomation capabilities such as intelligent conversational interfaces using natural language understanding or processing to simulate human conversations and interactions, combined as well with software robots using RPA, for example, can enhance the customer satisfaction by delivering a personalized experiences and the prompt service. The next scenario I would like to show is about the operations and the processes. We all see in our organizations the repetitive tasks, maybe waste of time and tasks that are not with a lot of added value to the workforce, and especially when these tasks can generate potential human errors that will impact all our processes and operational efficiency. And here, hyperautomation capabilities such as business process automations can help to reduce the need for human intervention and ensure that tasks are completed efficiently. And combining this business process automation with processes orchestration can help to achieve this consistency across your value chain and across your processes, aligning them and ensuring as well enforcement and adoption of the processes, and create a unified experience within your organization. The third scenario is related to the technological landscape when it comes to having different systems and platforms. For example, like having digital platforms that needs to be connected to your legacy systems, and having a siloed and scattered technological landscape can make difficult to share the data across all the systems, the consistency of your content, and the update of your data and the information across the systems. And here we can think about hyperautomation to virtually link those siloed systems using RPA and event orchestration and automation. By using this, we can easily manipulate content from end to end, clean the data and validate the consistency and the persistence of your data coming from different sources. Adding to that, event automation can help to orchestrate your data-driven workflows and enforce business rules and ensure efficiency. Last but not least, when we talk about compliance, it's usually a non-negotiable topic within the organization, and especially for industries where the regulation is heavily present, and this can be really a nightmare to comply to rules across, especially across different markets and across different regions when those rules are different. And here, introducing business process automation powered by as well AI can create agility when it comes to improving compliance within the different market regulation, and then the scaling of this regulation and these compliance rules become easier as it's enforced globally, and we're helping then enabling adoption, improving your employee experience, your audit capabilities, and accelerate your turnaround time. So those are just scenarios and examples of how we can leverage hyperautomation capabilities through different layers with your clients, within your operations, technological landscape, or when it comes to compliance and regulation. And Gartner has confirmed for the next, in their prediction for next year, that organizations will lower operational costs by 30%. So that's an average, of course, by combining hyperautomation technologies with redesigned operational processes. Now I will give the floor to my colleague Ricardo to deep dive on the technological landscape, and as well to showcase some real case studies from the field. Ricardo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hisham. So, as Hisham showed us, combining different tools, different scenarios will allow us to solve a lot of efficiency-related problems in companies. To achieve that, what we generally do is we use what we call a toolbox. This is a vision of our hyperautomation toolbox, and you can see that it's not technology locked, so it's pretty much agnostic. And all these areas have different solutions within them, and the combination of these different technologies and this different vision is what allows us to use like composable solutions, being client-centric, adapting the right tool to the right job, to the right client's pain point, or to the right need. And through the last 10 years, our experience showed us that there were patterns in the way we were combining the tools to achieve the better results, the greatest value. So realizing these patterns allowed us to create this kind of roadmap, a generic one that will require some adaptation to each one's reality, but other than that, a real important one to realize. We now have a proper vision on which tools bring the quickest return on investment, which ones will allow us to ramp up the hyperautomation solutions, and which ones will bring more value by being added at the same time that others are already present into the solutions. So this is sorted by ROI potential, but at the same time, it's also taking into consideration dependencies, such as if I'm going to do process mining and trying to discover different processes, the ad hoc ones, the ones that we don't really know exist in a company, I should probably already have sorted out the real regular company enterprise processes. So I should have that automated before even going deep diving into the dark side of which processes are not known to the company. And this allows us to have this sort of maturity assessment and advisory framework where you can exactly see where your company is, where you are in this hyperautomation roadmap, and how we can leverage that. And of course, adapt this solution to each organization's reality. So in a certain way, how we're approaching the hyperautomation landscape and this reality is we're sitting together with our clients, thinking big, understanding exactly what's the strategic vision and the milestones and the pain points that you're trying to solve, but starting small, starting with something tangible, measurable that brings return on investment quickly. This saves a lot of money, creates immediate value, reduces risk, and it allows us to kickstart an automation program that will have return on investment faster. And then we can use that return on investment to scale the operation, to create a full automation program in our company clients. This has been our approach for some years now, and it's proven to be quite efficient. If we're looking into a little bit on the toolbox, so on the tools that we have available for hyperautomation, we can just go through the initial tools that we're using. In stage one, we're having this task automation approach, which are basically small robots. So it's called RPA, robotic process automation. These robots will allow to relieve humans from the repetitive, boring, copy paste stuff in collaboration with humans, by the way. So a robot can start something, as you can see on the screen. The robot is working, doing stuff during their workflow. It can be a workflow that connects different siloed applications, because this robot can interact with whatever application is possible to interact on a regular computer screen. But it allows the robot to also interact with humans. So this robot can at any given time ask for help and say, look, this is a special case that I was not able to handle automatically. Can you, human, give me a help on this? So there is this human software collaboration and this really great employee experience also behind automating these tasks, and this relief of humans to create added value activities in a company. It's not just about replacing the boring tasks, it's about creating value. So on top of these robots, if you look at this as a layer perspective, you have this task-related automation. Then we deep dive into a more holistic vision on a company, which is the processes, the transversal processes on a company that we're using this business process automation tools. Like, as an example, we have Flowable helping us with this webinar and supporting us. And this is probably where we would include Flowable on a solution, which is the holistic orchestration vision by case management, decision management, this collaborative environment that can be created. By the way, this kind of tools will allow us to have people being onboarded into a single process. So if I'm even me as a human, I have help from my robot associate, from my colleague robots. I need to make a decision, but at any given time, I need to scale this up. I need to ask someone else to be onboarded into a process. I can with this tool. I can simply get someone to help me on a given process, and that person will have access to all the documents that I'm managing on this specific process, all the steps, everything that has been decided up until now, and can, in fact, in real time collaborate. So the fact that we are organizing processes within these business process automation tools is what allows us to have an harmonization, and more than that, an adoption of processes in a company, which is generally one of the pain points. Is I decide a process, but then I need to train everyone in a company. I need to ensure that these persons are acting according to that new process. And if I need to change the process, and if I don't have a business automation tool enforcing that process, I would need to train everyone else again. But in this case, and this is what's bringing a lot of business agility, is the fact that I can adapt and learn and readapt the process every time I want to, and everyone will comply to that process because the process is being enforced by a tool. So it's been harmonized among a company. Even with different locations and taking into consideration different realities or different market needs or different requirements from a compliance standpoint. So this approach is also what we call business driven by design. And what this means is that we're drawing visually exactly how we want our companies to work. And this is being used directly from the tool. So we're not translating this into code. You can easily have a working meeting with a stakeholder, showing visually how this is how it's going to happen. And you can adapt, adjust, change easily with no extra code required for that. Then you can code, of course, the business rules, everything that you want to do, but the high level workflow is a visual thing, which helps a lot because since there's no translation, what this means is that the end result will be exactly what was modulated from the beginning with business driven, so coming exactly from the business side. If you look at this as a third layer, and this is already stage 2 automation, you've already automated tasks, you've already documented how your company works, but now you still have some siloed applications. You have a CRM, you have an ERP, you need to connect everything. And instead of using the old school point-to-point integrations, painful and hard to maintain, what we're using is this quick time-to-market approach with tools that have out-of-the-box connectors. These connectors prevent us from needing to reinvent the wheel, meaning that I can use a default connector to connect with Salesforce or to connect with whatever system. And then I just need to implement the specificities of my business on top of it. Of course, if there is a specific tool that I need to use, I can build a custom connector for that. I have the freedom for that. But the fact that we already have out of the box this Lego-like solutions will allow us to accelerate the deliverables, and you'll get the solution right as soon as possible. Other than that, automating events, there's also some added advantage, like we're using recipes, and the recipe is something that you can reuse. You can have component recipes, and these recipes are quite smart. They are data driven, they are AI based, they have that capability. Here you have an example of something that I want to do and how it's being implemented as a recipe. And everyone can take a visual look at that and understand it quite simple. I'm opening a ticket. I need to understand exactly the tone of that ticket. If someone is angry, and this is where the AI comes in because it's capable of understanding the tone. If that's the case, then I want to scale this up quickly. And I want to inform someone on Slack that there is this requirement, someone needs to act quite fast. This kind of intelligent robots or intelligent integration or intelligent events are the way we get value of the different applications without replacing them. That's one of the biggest advantages, is that we're not really replacing all of the core existing applications. We are enhancing them, we're gluing them together, we're allowing information to flow easily, and we're getting value out of it. On top of this, on top of the tasks, the processes, the events, we're adding this cognitive automation layer. And this is basically the combination of all the existing innovation that has been going on over the last years in AI. We're using machine learning capabilities to make better decisions. We're using intelligence conversational interfaces to better interact with humans. We're using computer vision to better understand documents, get metadata out of it, and understand the context of something, and then use that data together with the metadata to classify things, to do better risk assessment, to support decisions, or at least to provide the best information to a human to support decisions. So you can see that by infusing these cognitive behaviors into the tasks, the processes, and the events, we're allowing robots to make be a little bit smarter, make better workflows, will allowing processes to decide better where to go, what's the next step. Do I need to scale this up? Do I need to do a risk assessment? Am I being compliant by this? So this is this infusion of cognitive behavior is what creates this hyper state of automation, because automation has been in the market for a long time, but hyper state of automation is exactly creating this smarter and smarter combination of tools, and adding value by combining these different tools. And this is, by the way, something that we're doing today. This is not something for the future. This is not some hope that we have. This is being delivered today. This is what you can do in your company. You could have smarter and smarter workflows, smarter and smarter decisions. So what's the last step? If I have everything automated, if I have all my silos disassembled and connected, if I have all the processes flowing perfectly, if I have intelligence supporting humans as much as possible, what's the next step? So the next step, as Isham told us, is this cultural change, is having everyone in a company being a driver for automation themselves, is having whoever knows exactly on the ground how to do their work the best to also participate on these automation initiatives. So how do we support our clients while doing that? Well, we create these learning paths, and we support everyone in a company who wants to learn a little bit more about how do I automate my daily tasks. We do an analysis and we document the as-is processes, the existing ones, the daily ones, and we create this kind of pipeline, this orchestrated pipeline that allows a company to understand exactly how much efficiency they could get out of each small automation that has been requested by anyone in a company. So one of the risks that you have by implementing a citizen developer program is if you just simply let people automate whatever and you have no governance, you'll end up with a lot of automations that overlap themselves. And this overlap is an inefficiency. By creating this governance program, by allowing people to apply for an automation, but this automation being assessed on a centralized environment, maybe the automation already exists and has been done by someone, and you can simply reuse that one. Or maybe it's really a new one, brings value, and it's going to be prioritized. So this is the next step. Then what's next? So we run the automations, but we need to measure success. And that's also one of the things that we do. And with success being measured, what we can do by the fact that we know exactly how much efficiency we're creating is we're improving the automations, the one that exists. We're auditing the ones. We're realizing exactly which ones are bringing more efficiency. We're creating dashboards that showcase exactly how much we're getting out of these citizen developer programs. I can now pass into a little bit more practical examples so that we can have a tangible vision on this. By the way, these are metrics that we're getting out of real projects. And they are, of course, related to efficiency, but they're also related to scaling up operations and creating better employee and client experiences. So in the end, you can get this kind of metrics from an initial standpoint. These are the quick ROI approach. And when you get to a maturity level, you'll be probably getting something like Isham told about, around 30% efficiency improvement, which is amazing. Deep diving just to a couple of cases that I would like to show you. I'm not expecting everyone to read exactly what's on the screen right now. Hopefully you'll have the opportunity to read it later. But in this case, we had a challenge, which is we had an NGO getting donations, and by the time that conflict between Russia and Ukraine started, they got a lot of donations. But to be compliant, they need to process those bank statements, and they need to classify them properly. they were not being capable of scaling that. What we used there was RPA together with document understanding, so some AI to understand exactly the metadata and everything. And we were able to process it quite fast. If you look at a graphic, it's visually easy to understand exactly the potential of automating stuff. And this required no effort exactly from anyone as a human. We just trained the robots, asked them to perform these tasks, and they did it. That's it, as simple as that. If you look at another example, loans automation, this was done with a bank. They wanted to be pioneers into personal loans. They wanted to create a really, really amazing client experience where instead of going to the bank several times, waiting for a week or more, they wanted to be really fast. You need a loan, you go there, you apply for a loan in 2 hours, you get the money in your bank account. How do we achieve that? Well, we orchestrated a full process among the different departments of the company. We create interfaces that are touch-friendly and allow the relationship manager to have pre-approved loans that show, and these are done exactly by profile. So by analyzing exactly all the data coming from a specific client, we created ways to automatically do the anti-money laundering, all the checks that need to go, the risk assessment, to communicate everything transversally. We centralized all the document management on this process. We allowed everyone to know exactly when they needed to make a decision. And by doing this, end to end, so until the team that really disbursed the money into someone's account, we integrated all the core banking tools, but some external tools, some assessment tools, some external requirement tools. And by connecting everything, we created an orchestration, a holistic vision on a process that allow them to go fully digital, full paperless, including signatures, but at the same time created revenue growth because, well, you can approve faster loans, you'll probably approving more loans. A full price personalization by having the system being capable of analyzing all the specificities of a client and do a proper risk assessment. We were getting a centralized dashboard where you could simply meet a client and understand exactly where they are. And by the way, at a given point, the client asked us to add some products to this because this was being really a success. So we added credit card management, we added overdraft management to the systems. So they have like a product management, a whole vision in one single place where you could manage your client relationship. And of course, improved compliance because all this was being analyzed by business process automation tools, which had a lot of metrics. Who did what, when this was done, when this data was changed. Can I get a report on what was done here? So everything was automated. Now, whenever they need to do an audit, they just, with the press of a button, they get a full report out of it. And in the end, the greatest outcome was the client experience. So the last one that I want to show you is more of a use case. So we had a client, and the goal for this one, I really want you to look at this from the perspective of the limit is pretty much our imagination. Where we can go with the hyper automation tools is amazing. We had a client that had 500 people working outside in construction. So these people are not tech savvy. They were not, they didn't have fancy smartphones. They could not deploy a specific company enterprise application into their smartphones, but they needed to do job reports on site. And the company was losing money because people are not being capable of reporting things. They had to go back to the company, report it in paper, and sometimes they forgot about that. So it ended up not being invoiced to clients, but they needed a solution that didn't require to train everyone in the company with a new software or to provide new smartphones to all the 500 employees. what we did was we realized together with the client that everyone in their company, even not being tech savvy, knew how to use WhatsApp. So we decided, okay, let's use WhatsApp. Let's create a smart, intelligent conversational interface, something GPT-like. Let's have that smart interface connect with robots internally that will create everything necessary. So this is the landscape that we ended up. You have the Meta services with WhatsApp. You have Microsoft Azure with translation service, by the way. I could report something in any language, and this would translate to their internal systems as English. We have single sign-on capabilities to understand exactly who is reporting what. And this way, we have a really simple and easy conversation with the person, a guided one. Can you tell me what has been done? Can you take a picture? Can you tell me who was on the site? The robot will orchestrate everything internally. Will go to the ERP system, will inform the program manager, the project manager system, will create the invoices, will prepare even the email to be sent to the client. In this case, we decided to stop the automation there and allow the program manager to decide when to send the invoice, but it was completely fully assisted end to end. So this goes to show a little bit on how we can combine different tools to achieve amazing automation results. Now, thank you so much, Isham. I would like you to present the startup package and how we're kicking projects with our clients. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Ricardo. So now the question is how within Merkle we deliver this kind of projects that Ricardo just described and others. And the question when it comes to delivering a hyper automation program, the direct answer is that there is no one size fits all approach. However, there is a philosophy and steps that needs to be performed carefully in order to succeed. Ricardo described our approach: think big, start small, scale quickly. Because one of the idea of this approach comes from one of the challenges or two challenges that we have seen in programs, hyper automation program. The first one is scalability. A lot of business and technological leaders have tasted what experiments, what a proof of concept can bring value, but never had the chance to move or to go at scale. And these experiments are not moving the needle on company performance. And the second challenge is the ROI. It should always, when we talk about hyper automation program and any other technological, actually, by the way, initiative, we should always start with the business problem that you want to solve instead of seeing hyper automation, for example, as a technology and looking for the problem that can solve. And to do this, we start with a Kickstarter workshop. This is a very important moment and very important step to understand what are the problems that we want to solve, what are the company strategy, what are the business initiatives, and assess the automation maturity of the organization in order to be able to identify the high value. Again, the notion of value is very important, and low investments automation initiatives. After this workshop, I will describe a bit more in details what we do there in this workshop. But after this first step, we move to our roadmap in order to provide first the quick wins, so the short-term initiatives, and the mid and long-term initiatives that can help to go at scale later. So this prioritized roadmap helps to have the set of initiatives that are prioritized based on the value that it will bring and the investment that will be required. After this step, there is the moment of taking the decision of investment. Which path, which scenario should we take when it comes to hyper automation, based on all the work that has been the discovery work, let's call it this way, the discovery work that has been done earlier. And once we have the investment decision, we move to the magic time where we deliver the first solutions, the automation solutions, and develop the first solutions. And this cannot work if we are not able to measure based on the objective, based on the baseline that we have defined. So every initiative should be measured in order to be able to improve the opportunities in a test and learn approach. So these are the 4 steps based on first think big, start small, and scale quickly to ensure scalability and to ensure as well fast ROI. If we take a look at the first step, Kickstarter workshop, the objective is here to have a holistic look at the bigger picture, because whenever you develop a technology, it's not related only to hyperautomation, but whatever technology, of course, there will be a secondary effect somewhere in the system that will prevent us to take or to capture the full value. And that's why we emphasize on the importance of having this holistic look in the beginning in order to understand what is the big picture and where hyperautomation can really bring the added value. So first we start with you getting familiar with the hyperautomation capabilities. What are the main benefits based on your strategy, on your business priorities? Bringing here the customer or the business perspective, the technological perspective, and the enterprise perspective together in order to have a holistic view. Then we move to an ideation and collaboration session where we co-create the roadmap of hyperautomation by understanding your business automation maturity assessment. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? How we can prioritize the different initiatives based on your strategy and business topics, and then identify the first quick wins and hyperautomation solutions. And then we wrap up by identifying the areas for automation, the next steps, and documentation that will help you or that will support the investment decision. One of the typical outcome of this workshop is a proposal that will highlight the average ROI, the scope of automation, how many workflows, how many processes that we will work on, what is the investment, and what are the yearly savings. As Ricardo mentioned, this quick ROI approach had to reduce risk, to project as well, and make the approach scalable and ensure cost transparency with measurable KPIs and measurable numbers such as time saved, money saved, and where we are compared to the baseline that we defined initially. And this is very important to have to measure the success and to make it accessible to every stakeholder to first ensure that we are on the right path, and second, to foster the adoption. So we have reached the end of our webinar on hyperautomation. I hope you have enjoyed it. You learned something new and useful. So I would like to thank you all for your participation. Before closing, I would like to remind you that you can send us your questions directly into the email address that is here on the left of your screen. We will get back to you as soon as possible. As well, you can download our white paper using the QR code here, the English or the German version, where you can find more details. So thank you again for joining us today. We hope to see you again in our next webinar or in our next sessions. So have a wonderful day. See you and goodbye.
Thank you. Have a great day.